All right, going to try and make a short video of this EEE transmission. It also came with a super diff and what they termed gorilla gears. Haven't been inside of this one yet. The piece you see right here is the shift mechanism. Up is reverse, down is drive. The fitting at the top is the breather for the trans. These two, I have no idea what they do yet, only because all of the other setups don't have that on them. All of the transmissions are a cast case, where this is just a big block of aluminum that bolts together with all sorts of stuff inside of it. The gear ratio here is a 7.24 to 1, not your standard 9.5 to 1. And then this one does have brakes on both sides. There's the upper mount and the upper mount. The bottom part of the bracket bolts here, and then the caliper goes on like this on the rotor. There is our driven shaft. As you can see, the lip is machined off of the cup. And then what they did is the rotor bolted onto here. The rotor had a recess in it that the CV assemblies fit into. And then that's how the whole thing went together. The two bolts in the back here are the rear brace that goes from the back of the transmission to the frame to keep it from rocking back and forth. This is your fill right here. You could actually use these two as well because they're actually drilled all the way through. This guy here, when it starts coming out there, it's full. It uses one of the old style shafts. This is where the brake assembly went on a lot of the other buggies. Some of them had a single rotor brake set up here, some had it up here. One thing about this transmission is, if you can see, it has an open diff. As I'm going backwards on this side, it's going forwards on that side. Where all of the others just have a solid differential type setup on it. The crazy thing about this transmission, other than it's just a huge block of aluminum, is that it has no drain plug. I guess maybe you stuck the tube in the bottom through the assembly on the other side, and then you sucked the transmission fluid out. The fun part here is going to be the axles have rubbed on these and pretty much wiped out the Allen heads. So I'm going to have a nut welded on that to knock those loose. It is kind of interesting the way they did some of the mounts here, because these aren't added on or welded on. They were they're from the same block of aluminum. And then real quick on the brakes, this is the bracket I was talking about. This is the upper mount. There's the bottom mount, and then there is the brake caliper for each side. One on each side, just because with an open diff, you'd only be locking one wheel up at a time. I believe I have one of the rotors. The other one is being made, because for that car over there, I need to get two new rotors because they both were missing when I got the car. But you can see the recess in here, and this actually will go onto the CV like that. And like I said, the CV assembly fits in there. It uses these, I don't know, what's the word? Chamfered angled holes. That's what bolts the rotor to the cup, and then the other bolts, the other 6, are what attach the CV through the rotor into the cup. The reason this is pulled out is because the top bearing on the shaft went out, and it knocks every single time it goes around now. So it is a cool setup. And like I said, it is an open diff. It does use a 7.24 to 1 gear ratio. So when you mate that with either the 500 Polaris or the 583 Rotax, it should clip along pretty good. It'll be interesting to see what these are. Maybe it's some type of splash assembly. I know of some of the other transmissions, they had like a piece of like tin inside of them so that the oil just didn't get pumped out of here. But I don't know, no idea. Never been into one of these.